Good morning, Michelle Hill with Slingshot Designs. And today I'm going to actually go through a little bit of a conversation with myself and share it with you. What I have going on is something that's worthy of a good video on, and I haven't done one in a while. So what I've got going on right now is I'm working with somebody who is not feeling challenged at work, which is pretty much all my clients are going to feel that way, or their challenges that they do have at work are not the kinds of challenges that they are looking for in life. And one of the first things I do with any client that comes on board is have them take two assessments. One is called it's mine, it's Dope Designs, and it's a personality assessment. So I kind of get an idea of where somebody stands in the four quadrants of a personality, what they showcase, what they lean on, and which ones they shy away from. The other one that I use is the RIASEC, which is totally available for free on the ONET website. And I use that one to get an idea of what they're, when they envision their ideal self in a workplace, what does that look like? And so I find a lot of value by going off of those two assessments, give me an idea of who I'm talking to and how to best advise them or guide them or mentor them or coach them to get to their goals based off of how they view themselves. So, but in looking at this, what I always find is that your lowest score on your Dope Designs being a personality assessment, which is really the same thing as a DISC. It's a holistic adaptation of it. So anyway, going off of that, when I look at the lowest score, that's usually where I focus a lot of my time on, because if I overlay that with the RIASEC, I can often see that, okay, your lowest score may be in the OWL, meaning that you don't lean on your intellectual capabilities as much as maybe you could. And a lot of times that will overlay with the RIASEC. So I'll see like the investigative score be a little lower than the rest. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean anything at face value. There's a story behind those numbers. And that's what I really try to get down to, is what is that story? Because that's really a snapshot of where you're at now. I've taken the RIASEC and Dope Designs both many, many times. And obviously having, kind of created my own adaptation of the DISC assessment, when I take the Dope Designs, my goal is always to balance my personalities out so that I make sure that I'm feeding all four quadrants of my personality on a regular basis. And I can sharpen those saws and keep those personas sharp and ready to go so I can execute them whenever I need to. And, so and I do a whole video on this. I do coaching specifically just on this as well. But essentially, if I need to present, then I need to really be able to showcase my kind of peacock personality and be able to deliver a good performance with a good message and solid consistency. So maybe I need to add a little bit of an eagle persona when I'm delivering a presentation. So I always know to leave my owl at home, because I'll go monotone, and because I'm kind of getting really intellectual and in my headspace. And same thing with my dove. I certainly like to connect matters of the heart, but there's a time and a place for that, right? So delivering a presentation, if I'm trying to hit a wide audience, then peppering in some of that dove is a good idea, so I can connect with other doves in the room. But generally, I try to leave the heartfelt part of it at home a little bit more. So maybe I only bring 10% of dove. So anyway, that's how I use Dope Designs when I'm trying to fit a particular need. But going back to the point of this video, what I'm working through right now with the client is, when I'm looking at those scores and I'm listening to the goals and challenges that my client faces, I can see that there's a gap there. That if working and sharpening your saw in this area is really going to empower you to kind of take those next moves. And so the universal message behind this is that when you feel that challenge, when you feel discontent at work because you have, a lot of times it comes from spending so much time focused on an area, one specific quadrant of your personality, that you don't have a chance to really tap into your creative genius or to put your own spin on things. So there's always an opportunity in whatever task you're doing well, not always, but usually there's an opportunity in whatever task you're doing to be able to layer in more personality, your personality, so that you don't look at the task as this daunting, it's not just a task. It becomes an opportunity to sharpen your saw. And if you can be realistic with yourself about areas that you're weaker in and where your interests are being pulled towards, you can control and steer that ship. So, a lot of times it really does come back down to, like I do with my kids, like, you don't want to do your chores. So you have to kind of find a Mary Poppins style way to make them fun. And this is a little bit of that. I mean, we all have tasks in our lives that we don't enjoy doing. Certainly I can name a few for me that I have to do on a regular basis that I don't get excited about, right? So one of the ways that I can do that is to realize that I am improving myself every time I do that task. Especially if it's something that I don't want to do, then that's an opportunity for me to work on mindfulness and my attitude, right? That's an opportunity for me to sit down. So every task that I don't enjoy doing is a chance for me to do something better and improve. So I can sit down to do a task I really don't want to do and say, hey, you know what my challenge today is going to be? It's going to be to do this with enthusiasm and zest and passion. And I'm going to work on my mindset, right? So that helps me balance out whatever it is that I'm doing. And especially if it's a task I'm not looking forward to, or perfect example, when I keep feeling it. Perfect example, I'm designing my own website right now. I've never designed a website before. This is about my third attempt to do this, and I'm just determined I am going to get it right this time. I have the website done, but it's glitchy. So I have to now tap into my resources and call, tech support and figure out exactly why I'm finding I'm still having the problems that I'm having. And so it's become a daunting task, and I'm not looking forward to it. I've already spent many days on this that I didn't want to have to spend, but yet it was my decision to do it myself. So the challenge that I took on as a business owner, I don't want to outsource it. I really want to be able to, like, a personal mission of mine is to do my own website. So having gotten this far into the process, now it's a matter of just kind of buttoning it up. And calling tech support is not something I'm looking forward to because I keep getting kicked off the calls. So I have to I have to change my mentality about this a little bit and really pull on and embrace the sense of accomplishment I'm going to feel when I launch my website that I designed myself, not using like some automated platform. I designed this website myself. And it's going to be, it's rooted, it's built right the first time. Just a couple glitches, but generally I know that I did a good job. And so I'm proud of myself for that. And I'm sharing that because it's the same mentality, whatever challenges you've got in your life right now, approach it with determination and grit. And, this, I'll do what it takes until it's done kind of a mentality, and watch where things go. Watch how much easier it is when you kind of step up to the box to take your shot. And when you do that, so like pay attention, I guess I'll put it this way. If you're unhappy right now, generally you're feeling kind of like stressed and anxious, then take a step back and look at why. Where in your life are you feeling this kind of disconnect? And in those areas, there's going to be a common thread. So look for the pattern. If that pattern is that it's all things that are data-based or all things that are technical, I believe very strongly in systemic problems. So you follow this is my background in continuous improvement and root cause analysis. You follow that cord through the tapestry and see where all it fits, where all you see traces of that same hesitation and that same resistance, and you'll very quickly find a pattern to that. So now you tie that to your personality type. What quadrant of your persona or personality, which persona does that impact? And then you look back into RASIC, and when I look at the scores on that, so from your perspective, if you find that you're really not liking transactional, data-driven tasks lately, then that is going to tie directly to like the owl persona in you. And then then I take a look at like my RIASEC scores, where do I stand? And I realize that maybe investigative is really low for me. So it gives me an opportunity to showcase that area that I'm currently low in. And I don't know about you, but generally people are looking for opportunities to improve themselves. And a lot of times if you take that approach to it, then you're going to be a lot more successful and you're going to enjoy the experience more. If you realize that this is an opportunity for you to grow your business, to grow your personal brand, to brush up your skills so that you can get the job that you're looking for. This is an opportunity for you, no matter, you just take this approach in whatever task is daunting in front of you. This is an opportunity for you to get to where you're trying to go, even if it doesn't feel like it. You know, like, do you really look at adding gas to your tank as an opportunity for you to get to your final destination? Because it is. You can't get to your final destination if you don't have gas in the tank. And so there's those mundane transactional minutia that we have to deal with, they're still value added. It's just not igniting our passion. And a lot of that has to do with mindset and your approach. So it's just my tip, my tricks for working through mindset issues that don't align with necessarily where I'm trying to go, but yet they're mandatory, even though, and they're value added, but they're not necessarily fun, right? So taking a different approach to that and understanding how the transactions in your life add up to become your destination, like where you're trying to go. A life driven of passion and purpose doesn't mean, I don't want to glorify that. I mean, there's still a ton of work that needs to be done in every single day to get to where you're trying to go. Are you willing to do what it takes? And if the answer to that is no, then reach out and let's have a conversation about that. If the answer to that is yes and you're ready to go, give me a shout. All right. So until next time, Michelle Hilwa, Slingshot Designs, and I just want to remind everybody, as always, take care of yourselves and your neighbors.